West, 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 West. This the West, 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 the West Coast. This the West, 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 the West, West. This the West, 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 the West
Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the promised land. The NBA and the Stanley Cup Finals are set, and I got to talk about them. But before I get to that, remember, guys, always to subscribe, rate, review. I love the feedback I'm getting for you guys on this platform. It's been great last couple of weeks, and we're finally to the nitty gritty, the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals. But before we get to that right now, I got to break down an epic Game 7 we had of the Western Conference Finals between the Spurs and the Thunder. And the Spurs ended up winning 111 to 103 on the road in Oklahoma City to advance to the first NBA Finals for them since 2014 when they had Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker and all those guys. And now it's a whole different era of Spurs basketball. And yeah, man, they did it with a full team effort. Victor Wembanyama was great again, but he wasn't as great as he was in Game 1 and in that Game 4 where he had over 30 points. But he had a good 22 points. Had his best shooting game from the three for five from 3 point range, and 7 rebounds. Was outstanding, of course, on the defensive end, and overall he was great. But it was the other guys that was the key to this win. Julian Champagny, after having a really tough start and pretty much most of the series shooting the three, he came alive. 20 points, 6 for 10 from three, 6 rebounds, and he was great defending Chet Holmgren. And I'll get to Chet Holmgren later on, which is a bad thing if you're a Thunder fan. But he did a great job of defending Chet Holmgren, and he was shooting the lights off from three, and he really helped out Wemby, and that's the key. Because if the Spurs can get somebody else to help Wemby, and he's putting up numbers, they're a really tough team to beat. And getting that out of him was great. So it's a great game over for Julian Champagny. He's a really good player, 3 D wing, and when he's hot, man, he can be explosive, and he was for sure explosive the last 2 games of the series, and it was a big part of the Spurs pulling out this series victory and moving on to the NBA Finals. So good for him. De'Aaron Fox also had his best game of the series. He's been dealing with that ankle injury, and he looked as spry as ever in this game. 15 points, and he was moving the ball over the place, and he was pretty quick. And I like the way he looks. So he played very well, and they're gonna need him in this next round in the NBA Finals because he has to do a good job of keeping Jalen Brunson on his toes. And if he's healthy and he looks good, then yeah, that's a great sign for the Spurs as well. So 15 points for him. Stephon Castle, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. He was filling up the stat sheet all over the place. Took care of the basketball. Was great defending SGA. Although SGA did have a great game, but it was tough for him because he really made him work. And the SGA was dead tired by the end, and it's all because of Stephon Castle. And Stephon Castle has really become one of the best two-way players in the game, and it's only going to get better, which is crazy. He's still super young, 21 years old, and the sky's the limit for this kid. And this kid's going to be a really good player for years to come. Dylan Harper looked the healthiest he's looked ever since he had the abductor injury earlier in the middle of the series. 12 points, 2 of 3 from three, 7 rebounds, and he was just being a bully, getting in the paint, using his athleticism and his size, and getting those tough points through contact. And he played very well, and he was the key for them off the bench, and really gave him a lift. And yeah, man, the Spurs have a really bright future in the backcourt and overall as a unit with this young core. Devin Vassell was pretty solid. Numbers wise, he really didn't have the best game in terms of his stats, but defensively, man, he did a good job of keeping the Thunder perimeter players at bay, and it was tough for them to score. And yeah, he played very well. And yeah, an overall great performance for a young team, a team that was in the lottery for years, ever since Tim Duncan and them walked out the back door, and Kawhi Leonard, LaMarcus Aldridge, and those guys walked out the back door. And yeah, man, you have to get a lot of credit to the Spurs front office for them to rebuild this team, rebuild this young nucleus on the fly, and get it to where it is now, to the NBA Finals, man. That's super super impressive, man. And they're still super young, man, and they're gonna be a team to reckon with for years to come. And maybe go on a run and maybe win a couple of championships. They definitely have the talent, and they look like they could win it this year. And it's all a credit to the Spurs front office for being patient and for picking the right players, building the right nucleus, and they definitely did it. And this team works together. They fight for each other, and they believe in each other. And it's all because of that big French guy in the middle. He was getting the best out of him. He's a leader. He was on the bench, getting in their face, telling them, "Hey, man, this is the time now. It's game 7. If we don't win this, we're going home. We have to let it all out on the floor. We got to let all of our blood and sweat and tears out on this floor." And they definitely did that, and they play for him, and he plays hard for them, and that was a great thing to see. And yeah, man, the sky's the limit for this player, man. Victor Wembanyama looks like he wants to take the crown, and he's 4 wins away from taking the crown as the NBA champion and becoming the face of the league for years to come. So great for him. And yeah, man, the Spurs are destined for greatness, and I'll get to it in the next segment when I talk about the finals on how they'll fare in that series. But yeah, great things for the Spurs, and yeah, man, they're 4 wins away, and San Antonio Spurs fans, be excited. Your team is something special, and it's going to be a fun series to watch in the NBA Finals starting on Wednesday. Now to the bad thing, and if you're a Thunder fan, I'm sorry, I gotta tell the truth, man. SGA played well, 35 points, 9 assists, but 43 minutes, and yeah, man, he was dead tired. As I said, towards the end, he could barely even get to the rim. He was just exhausted. He did not get a lot of help, although Cason Wallace had a pretty good game after being put in the starting lineup, 17 points, and he was pretty good shooting threes. But overall, man, SGA did not get a lot of help. I get it. Jalen Williams did not play because of the hamstring, and he tried to give it a go in Game 6 and was out there. But you can just tell, man, he was not the same guy. And the fact that he wasn't even out there was a crutch as it is, because they were just picking on him defensively all over the place in Game 6. He could not get into a rhythm offensively. He was basically playing on one leg, and that was a big mistake. And it cost him playing in Game 7. And yeah, he was not able to suit up, and it was definitely a miss, because I've said it many times, man. In a Game 7, you need your best players to come through, and you need your best players on the court. And not having him on the court really, really hurt the Thunder, because SGA did all he could, but he got no help. And I was saying it last couple of episodes about Chet Holmgren, that he had to be that guy and that secondary option to SGA. And he disappointed big time, man. He was a non-factor out there. 4 points, 1 for 2 from the field, 3 shot attempts. Like, are you kidding me now? Like, I understand that you're trying your hardest to defend Wemby, and your number one option is to play defense. But when you know you're the number 2 guy, and you have to help your best player get points, and you're on the ropes in a Game 7 at home for a chance to go to the NBA Finals, you have to be more aggressive. Reggie Miller was saying it all second half. He took no shot attempts, and he did not even try to get the ball and even try to go up and score. He was just passing it off. He was a decoy out there, and yeah, it just didn't work out. And credit to the Thunder, they were able to make it a kind of a game at the end, but throughout the entire game, the Spurs were continuing to push that lead to 10 points and keeping it at 10 points. And whenever the Thunder were able to make a run and get back in the game, they were finding ways to keep extending that lead and keep the Thunder at bay. And if Chet Holmgren was able to do something and help SGA out and be more aggressive, maybe the Thunder could have got the lead, and they could have kept the lead going forward and done more. But the fact that he didn't even try, that's a major red flag if you're a Thunder fan. And it opens up the questions here. Opens up the questions a lot, because will they try to make a trade for Giannis? Because if this is the Chet Holmgren you're going to get going forward, then you cannot feel too comfortable if you're a Thunder fan. So maybe they might throw Jalen Williams and him for Giannis to put next to SGA, because this series showed that if SGA gets no help from his number two guys, and he can rely on those number two guys to come through, then the Thunder are a very vulnerable team. And it showed in this whole series that if SGA doesn't go off, the Thunder are going to lose in a bad way. And this game was close, and I'll give them credit for keeping it close. But in their losses in the second half of the series, they were getting blown out, man. The Spurs were firing on all cylinders. And yeah, when SGA doesn't go off and they're not together as a unit offensively, this team can be very, very ugly to watch on offense. And it showed in the key moments of this game. And Alex Caruso, he's going to be a free agent. We'll see if he is able to come back and if they can even afford him, because he played very well in this playoffs. You got to give him a lot of credit, man. He definitely earned himself a big bag, and the team is going to offer him a lot of money, and we'll see if he can come back. Will Isaiah Hartenstein come back? That's another big story. Will they want to keep him and go over the second apron to keep him as their starting center? That's another question. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, man, the Thunder obviously we're a big favorite to repeat and win the championship again. And don't get me wrong, the Thunder is still a great team. I'm not bashing them, and I'm not saying that they're not gonna go back to the playoffs and go back to the conference finals and then another chance to get to the finals again. But yeah, man, they have a lot of questions, and we'll see. They still have a lot of guys on that bench. AJ Mitchell is still very young, and he still has a lot to get better at, and he's gonna be a really good player. Jared McCain was a steal at the trade deadline. I love that move for them, and that was great for them. So good for them. So the Thunder still have a lot of things to look forward to. But if they're gonna win the championship, they have a lot of they have a big bully in their way, and the Spurs are only going to get more confident going forward after this, because now they know that they beat them in the playoffs, and they know that they're the big bad boys in the West. It was the Thunder for the last couple of years, but now it's looking like it can be the Spurs, and the Thunder have to regroup and pick themselves off the floor and see, hey, this is a team we're going to deal with for years to come, so we got to come back. So the Thunder have a lot of questions in this offseason, and we'll see if they can get back to the promised land and possibly beat the Spurs, because Wemby and them are not going anywhere, man. They're going to be a team to reckon with going forward. So Thunder fans, don't kill yourselves too much. I get it. It was tough. You still got the 7 games. That was great, but you just couldn't get it done at home. And yeah, man, your best player showed up, but he just got no help, and you lost to a better team, and you got to come back stronger next year, and we'll see how that goes. So overall, great series, 7 games. Spurs showed their moxie, showed some fight, had their struggles. Injuries was a big part of the series as well, but credit to a lot of the players that were fighting through injuries and were able to get on the court and do what they can for their team and come through for their team on both sides. And overall, man, great series. The Spurs are Western Conference champions, and now they're going to have a chance to win the championship starting on Wednesday. And getting to the series starting on Wednesday, NBA Finals, Knicks Spurs on ABC this Wednesday. And this is going to be a hell of a series, man. Spurs are the favorites to win the series at minus 200. And yeah, man, they've been riding high, and they look like the best team in the league. They beat the best team with the best record recently, and the Thunder. And yeah, they're destined to win this championship, and they're favored to win the series. But the Knicks, man, the Knicks are a really, really tough team. And I get it. The Eastern Conference is a very weaker league compared to the Western Conference. But man, the Knicks have been very impressive, man. They won the regular season 2-1, including the NBA Cup title against the Spurs this regular season, and they know how to beat the Spurs, and they know how to get under Wemby's skin. But it's a whole different animal in the finals, man. The Spurs have grown up a lot, and they've learned from that, and they're ready to go. So it's gonna be a tough test. But the Knicks have been playing very well. They've been on a great ride, a historic ride. They've been blowing teams out left and right, man. They after losing 2 games to the Hawks in shocking fashion. After that, they were able to pick themselves off the floor and they beat the hell out of the Hawks. They swept the 76ers and basically told them to quit, and they basically went home and waved the white flag. Same thing with the last series against the Cavaliers. That was a no mas series. They basically told the Cavaliers to go home and wave the white flag as well. And overall, man, the Knicks have been on a dominant run, and they're playing very, very well, and they're clicking on all cylinders. And it's going to be a great series. But if there's one thing that you got to be worried about, Mitchell Robinson did break his pinky finger, and he's going to be hampered and probably wear a cast on his hand and be hampered. But it's a broken pinky finger, and he's not a scorer as it is, so that's not too bad. So he should be able to be out there and play defense and get rebounds. And that's all you need out of him. That's his main priority in this series. Just do your best to shut down Wembanyama. You're not going to shut him down all the way, but you got to do your best to make it tough for him. And that's Mitch Robinson's job. He has to go out there and be physical, make Wemby feel it, and yeah, keep him out of the paint. Let him take those threes. And I get it. Yes, he's a hell of a shooter, and if he can get hot, he can really kill you from out there. But if Mitchell Robinson can keep him out of the paint and he can contest enough out there on the perimeter and make it tough for Wemby, then that's a good sign if you're a Knicks fan. So he should be able to play. Signs are on the up and up that he will play this Wednesday. And yeah, don't be too worried, Knicks fans. Mitchell Robinson should be on the court on Wednesday. And the Knicks have been off for a week, man. They've been off after sweeping the Cavaliers. They're fresh. OG Anunoby is healthy after that hamstring injury, and he played very well in the last series against the Cavaliers. He's shooting the ball at a great rate from 3-point range. Mikal Bridges is playing very well. Jalen Brunson was absolutely destroying James Harden in the last series, and he's been on the tear. Karl-Anthony Towns, although scoring wise, he really hasn't dominated, but he's doing all the little things, and it's working. And you have to give a lot of credit to Mike Brown. And they're playing very, very well on defense. And yeah, man, they're going to be a really, really tough team. Excuse me, for the Spurs to deal with, and it's going to be a really, really good series. And yeah, man, the Spurs, I glossed them over a lot in the last segment, but they're playing very, very, very well. They have the defenders to defend Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. Stephon Castle really, really made it tough for SGA in that last series, and really made it tough for the perimeter players of the Thunder to get going. And he's gonna make it really hard for Jalen Brunson, man. Jalen Brunson is an ISO scorer, and he's a smaller guy, and Stephon Castle's physical, and he's gonna get up in you. So Jalen Brunson's gonna have a hell of a challenge going up against him. But the kid has heart. The kid's gonna be tough. He's gonna fight back. And he's gonna try to get his against Stephon Castle. So that's gonna be a fun matchup to watch between those two guys. And Wemby, he's the absolute eraser. As a defender, he's by far the greatest defensive player I've ever seen, and I'm not even over exaggerating. He is probably the greatest defender I've ever seen. The dude is an absolute monster, playing defense, blocking shots. He can get out on the perimeter. He's fast. He's long, and yeah, the dude is just a monster on defense. And he's going to make it really hard on Karl-Anthony Towns. And the key for this, for Karl-Anthony Towns, he's going to have to shoot the ball from 3 better than he's ever going to shoot it. Because if he goes in the paint, Wemby's going to do his best to shut him down. And it's going to be very, very tough for Cat to get going. So Cat has to be able to shoot the 3 well in the series if he has a chance to go off and put up big numbers against Victor Wembanyama. And role players, OG Anunoby has to come up huge. Mikal Bridges has to come up huge. And it's going to be hard against the Spurs defense because they have a lot of athleticism and size on the wing. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see. And the Spurs, their inexperience is going to be shown. It's going to be a big test for them because it was shown a couple of times in that last series against the Thunder. There were games where they were sluggish out there. There were games where Wemby wasn't aggressive. And when you're in the finals, man, you got to give it all every single game because that team on the other side, they went through a tough postseason as well. and a tough ride as well, and they're trying to get that championship. So you cannot have inconsistency if you're the Spurs. You got to come through and be ready to play every single game. Wemby has to be aggressive and want it and be an alpha scorer, not defer too much. He has to get in that paint and demand the basketball and try to give it to Karl-Anthony Towns. Try to give it to Mitchell Robinson. And I know it's gonna be tough because those two guys are big bodies and they're gonna do their best to be physical with them. But Wemby has to be able to take that contact, and he knows that he's 4 wins away, so he has to play his ass off and play tough and try not to get punked out there because there was times against Isaiah Hartenstein where he got his way against him, where he was too physical, and Wemby looked like he didn't really want the contact. But when it mattered most, he toughened up and he was able to get through all the contact and get those tough points. So he's got to do it again in this series because Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns are going to be very physical and try to make it tough for him. So that's another big key. Stephon Castle, he's got to take care of the basketball. That was a big story in the last series, and he was a lot better in the second half of the series because De'Aaron Fox came back. So that's good if you're a Spurs fan, but he still has to take care of it because the Knicks have a very good perimeter defense, and they can go out there and get their hands in the passing lanes, and they can steal the basketball. And when the Knicks are playing defense like that and getting steals and getting on transition, they're a very, very tough team to stop. So Stephon Castle has got to take care of the basketball. And De'Aaron Fox, is he back to being at least 90 to 80%? Is he healthy? Because as I said many times in that series against the Thunder, he was hobbling around in pain, and he did not look right for most of the series. He played well in Game 7 and looked pretty spry. So we'll see with 3 days off if he can be healthier and be good in the series, because he's going to be needed as much as possible, because he has to be that veteran presence and the floor general to run the offense and keep this offense flowing and not make it too much iso ball, Wemby shooting threes, and a more easy offense to defend. So he's got to come through. Dylan Harper, he's got to continue to give him points off the bench, and he's got to be aggressive and get into the lane and be that tough physical presence as a guard when he gets to the paint and play tough defense. And that was a good sign in Game 7 and in Game 6 as well. He played very well in those 2 games, so he looks pretty healthy and he should be good to go. So he's the key. Devin Vassell, he's got to shoot threes and play defense and keep doing his thing. He's the ultimate role player, and he has a tough job against OG Anunoby because Anunoby has been red hot. So he's got to do his best to defend him and keep him at bay. And Julian Champagnie, he played very, very well in Game 7, and he's got to continue to bring that into the finals because they need that outside shooting, and they need that guy who can spread the floor at the 4 position and put up damage shooting threes, because Wemby's going to demand a lot of attention, and if he can kick it out to somebody he can trust to shoot threes and spread that defense out, that's going to be very, very tough for the Knicks to defend. So it's going to be fun to watch. And with all that, it's going to be a great series. I think it's going to be nip and tuck, back and forth. If you would have asked me a month ago, I would have thought that it would be an easy series for whoever came out of the Western Conference to beat the winner of the East. But after what I've seen from the Knicks in this postseason, I've definitely gained more respect for them, and I've gained more belief in them, and I think they can really make this a series. But with that, I'm still not going to pick them to win the championship. I'm sorry, Knicks fans. I just can't do it. I get it. They play very, very well, and they've turned a lot of heads, and they've been dominant this whole postseason. But as I've said many times this season, the 2 best teams in the NBA were in the Western Conference, and they were the Thunder and the Spurs. And the Spurs came out on top, and I think the Spurs are going to come out on top in this series as well. I got the Spurs in 6. It's going to be a tough 6-game series. It's going to be very physical, nip and tuck, and the Knicks are going to come out ready to play. The Knicks fans have been waiting forever for this. Madison Square Garden is going to be lit in Game 3 and 4, and I can't wait to see that. But this series opens up in San Antonio, and the Spurs fans have been waiting for a long time as well for this, and that atmosphere is insane as well. And with the Spurs running high, after winning a tough series. And I get they're gonna be tired, but they're a young team. 3 days should be plenty for them to get back to ready to go and be on all cylinders. And I think they're gonna come out like game busters in game one and win that game. I think game two, there's a possibility that the Knicks could steal it, and we'll see if they can go up 2-0, maybe 1-1. I don't know. I'm not a genie. I don't know the exact, but I still think it's gonna be in six, and maybe the Spurs might have to go on the road and win one in New York in that crazy environment and tie up the series. Who knows? But I think the Spurs are going to come on top. They just have a great nucleus. I love the way they're playing. I love the defense that they play. And yeah, Wemby's got next. And yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun series to watch. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm very excited. We finally made it to the finals. It's been a very, very crazy NBA postseason. And yeah, I think the Spurs are going to be the ones lifting the Larry O'Brien in the end. And enjoy the series, guys. And hopefully I'm right. And even if I'm wrong, hey, as long as it's a great series, that's all I can ask for. So hopefully it's a competitive series and it's not a sweep. It's not a gentleman's sweep. Hopefully it's all we were waiting for. And yeah, man, if you're an NBA fan, this is the best matchup you could ask for. And it's gonna be fun to watch. So enjoy the finals, guys. Now from the NBA finals to the Stanley Cup finals, and we finally made it to that. And it's gonna be the Golden Knights and the Carolina Hurricanes. This is gonna be a pretty interesting series because I did not think the Golden Knights were going to make it all the way this far, especially against the Colorado Avalanche. I was absolutely shocked that they swept the Colorado Avalanche, and the Vegas Golden Knights were very uneven through the regular season until the second half of the season, where they finally fired Bruce Cassidy, and you can just tell that the whole aura of that team was just not vibing well with him as coach, and they hired John Tortorella, and ever since they hired him, man, they've been playing very, very well, and they've been on a great high. The players bought into him, and the Knights have always had a great roster, but it just seemed like they weren't on the same page. But ever since Tortorella took over, man, he got them together, and he was able to get them locked in, and it showed in this playoffs, man. They shocked a lot of people. I did not think they were going to get to the conference finals as it is, and the fact that they swept the Avalanche really, really says something to me. So that's very, very impressive. And they were able to go get Mitch Marner, and Mitch Marner has been an absolute godsend for them, leading all players in the postseason with 21 points. Jack Eichel is second with 16, including 16 assists. And yeah, man, that duo of Jack Eichel and Mitch Marner has played very, very well for them, and they're playing very, very, very well defensively. Carter Hart has been really good in goal. He's been red hot with a 924 save percentage, and he's been shutting teams down. And he was outstanding in that series against the Avalanche. The Avalanche came in with the hottest offense in the NHL, putting up huge numbers, and he was able to keep them at bay. And he played very, very well in that series, and he's very confident coming into this series against the Hurricanes. And the Hurricanes are a very, very tough offense. So he has to come to play, and he'll be ready to come to play, and it'll be very, very good fun to watch. And overall, man, yeah, the Golden Knights. I'll be honest, I'm a Kings fan. I do not like the Golden Knights, but I gotta give them credit, man. They won the championship a couple years ago, and they've always been a tough out in the Pacific. And as I said, it was a very uneasy season for them. But when they got things going, they look like that team that was dominating the Pacific the last couple of years, and they definitely look like that team again. And they're ready to go in this Stanley Cup final, and they'll be ready to play. So good for them. And for the Hurricanes, they've been an absolute juggernaut in these playoffs. 12-1 and on only one loss the entire postseason. And Taylor Hall, man, I'm very, very proud of him. He's been around for years. He's a great veteran. Won MVP in New Jersey. Went through a couple of bad years, winning wise in Edmonton, and he was able to get out of there and win the MVP in Jersey. And ever since then, he moved around, and people were thinking, hey, maybe he's not the guy. Maybe he might never win a championship or even get to a finals. As it is, he might just be a stat stuffer, but he's definitely turned it around, and he's definitely turned on the Hurricanes. He's been a great veteran presence on that team, and I'm very very happy for Taylor Hall, and I hope he can go out there and put up a good performance in these finals and possibly win the finals and get his first ring as a Stanley Cup champion. And I love that. And overall, the line of him, Logan Stankoven, and Jackson Blake have been an absolute juggernaut for them. They have 9 goals and 12 points in these playoffs, and yeah, man, they're firing all cylinders. They're playing very very well defensively. Frederick Anderson has been there before, man. He's gone through it for years. Went through a couple of tough playoffs with the Maple Leafs. Was not able to get over the hump, but now he has a chance, man, in the Stanley Cup Final to finally get it done. And he's been playing very very well, and he's a great veteran presence also in the locker room, and he's ready. He wants that championship so bad, and yeah, man, I'm very very happy for him, and he's gonna come to play because he's a veteran. He's been there before, and he's gonna do his thing. So I'm very very happy for Freddie Anderson. And overall, yeah, this Hurricanes team has been building for years. They came out of nowhere a couple years ago, and a lot of people didn't think that they were for real. But they've only just kept building and building from there, and they've added more players, added more talent, along with this young talent, added some veterans in there, got a good nucleus in there to build a good Stanley Cup contender. And they've been knocking on that door for years, getting to the conference finals a couple of times, and just came up just short. But they finally got it done this year, and they finally have a chance to win the championship. And yeah, man, they haven't won a championship since '06. On that great Stanley Cup championship team that was able to win it all, and they were a fun ride. And I remember watching that a couple years ago, back in the day. And yeah, man, they have a chance to write the script and win it again. And the Hurricanes fans have been waiting so long for this, and they have a great shot to get it done. It's gonna be a great series, very physical. Both teams play tough defensively. They have big bodies out there. They're both goaltenders are red hot, and yeah, man, I'm very very excited to watch this series. And the top 2 players on both teams are putting up huge numbers offensively, and they have great center play, great play on the blue line, and they pass the puck. They're 2 very fast, athletic teams. Both also play physical, and yeah, man, it's a great matchup and a very good heavyweight fight. And I'm very very excited to watch this. And I know I haven't talked a lot of hockey on this podcast, and I'm sorry for guys. I was just so hyped up for the NBA playoffs. I really didn't talk too much hockey, but I'm talking it now. And this was the absolute best matchup that I could have hoped for. Although I was rooting for the Avalanche to beat the Golden Knights, and obviously that didn't happen. They got swept. but hey, man, Golden Knights Hurricanes is still a great matchup, and I'm really really looking forward to it. And it's gonna be fun to watch. And my pick for that, I think the Hurricanes are gonna win it in 6 games, and it's gonna be a tough, very very tough. They open up at home in Carolina, and that crowd is gonna be absolutely insane. And they're ready to go, man. They haven't won a championship in a long time, and they've been starving for years. After, like I said, they've been right on the doorstep many times, and they're finally there, and they're 4 wins away, and they can finally win this championship. And I think they're gonna ride that home crowd. They're a young team. They're gonna ride out the home crowd, and yeah, man, they're gonna get it done. It's gonna be hard though to get one in Vegas because that crowd is very crazy in the playoffs, and the Golden Knights are a good veteran team. So the Canes got to come to play, and they got to be ready to go, and they cannot play like a young team. They got to play like a veteran team, a team that's been there, and I think they will. And they'll win in a tough 6 games. And yeah, man, it's gonna be fun to watch. I'm very excited for it. And yeah, man, NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Finals. It's a great time to be a sports fan. So be ready for it, guys. You know I am. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And with that, this was the West Coast Mindset. And This is presented by the Recliner Media Network, and I will see you guys next week. Enjoy the playoffs.
This the West, 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 West. This the West, 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 the West Coast. This the West, 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 the West, West. This the West, 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 the West.